Well, we begin tonight with a plan to provide financial help for Hoosier parents. A proposal to boost funding for childcare in Indiana just passed the state budget committee. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Felicia Lawrence in for Scott tonight. And Logan Gay is breaking down the vote and what it means for families. Logan?
Hey Felicia, after a 15-month freeze, state leaders are planning to reopen child care assistance for low-income families starting in May.
Because of the freeze, thousands of Hoosier families were unable to afford child care. At the same time, cuts to provider reimbursement rates led to more than 300 early childhood centers shutting down. But some lawmakers are questioning whether this will actually help, since provider pay isn't increasing.
If I'm a provider who has quit or reduced my load because the rate isn't high enough, why do I want to take on more people for whom the rate is also not high enough?
But remember, they had the 20%, right? And then they had the attendance bump, right? And now we pulled them back to by 10%. And we're significantly increasing the commitment to the child care industry by adding $14,000 or $200 million to that.
That $200 million would come from the state's general fund and be put towards the Financial Responsibility and Opportunity Growth Fund. It would bring 14,000 kids off a wait list, bumping total enrollment to about 57,000. But according to our news gathering partners with the Capitol Chronicle, about 21,000 would remain. Some lawmakers questioned why the governor decided to act now.
There isn't anything we're doing here with this $200 million that we couldn't have done last year if we wanted to in the budget session in 2025. The governor could have asked for this then. He had every right to do that, did he not?
Well, I think you're forgetting the very difficult, and he talked about this earlier in the week, 11th hour economic forecast that he received and that the General Assembly received, and they felt compelled to make changes in that to bring the budget into prospectively a better situation.
Priority will go to siblings already in the program, along with infants, toddlers, and preschool-aged children.
And while enrollment will begin in late May, the rollout is expected to take months.
All right, Logan Gay reporting this evening. Thank you so much. And lawmakers also tackled plans to bring the Chicago Bears to Indiana. The Budget Committee signed off on a proposal that would pass some of the costs to Indiana drivers. So here's how it would all work. An amended lease agreement with the Indiana Toll Road allows the toll to go up twice a year. The state will get $700 million over the next 3 years, and that could help pay for infrastructure improvements around the site of a proposed NFL stadium in Hammond. The toll goes up at least 1.5% every 6 months. That's true even if the Bears stay in Illinois.
You're saying that this really had nothing to do with the football stadium. This was started some time ago, and this is an independent effort to see if the state could get a one-time payment for adjusting the toll road agreement. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, we understand that transportation financing is a challenge, and so this is another opportunity to find the resources for transportation and infrastructure related financing.
So if the Bears do not come to northern Indiana, the $700 million would go toward infrastructure improvements in 7 counties along the toll road. The increase starts in July. Illinois leaders are working to keep the Bears. The team's decision is expected by this summer.
Well, our forecast for this evening, we are looking at temperatures trying to cool down a bit. There's 66, the current temperature in Indy, but farther to the north, we actually had some rain that rolled through earlier this evening and into the early part of the day, and that really left a lot of moisture in place. Because of that, we've got some dense fog advisories. You've seen those scrolling at the bottom of your screen. That's going to go until 8 tomorrow morning. Some of the areas up north are starting to see the visibilities drop. I think most of that will clear out by early morning, and then we expect these mostly clear skies overnight to give way to sunshine. Starting out mild means we're going to end up mild by the afternoon. We're headed for the 80s. This is the warmest day in the 7-day forecast. Big cool down is on the way for the weekend, along with rain. I'll have the forecast coming up.
Okay, Rob, we'll check back in. Thank you. And new tonight, police confirm they have made an arrest in an Indianapolis double shooting. According to IMPD, a community tip led them to the suspect. They say they found him outside a business along Washington Street near High School Road. All of this connected to a shooting that happened early Sunday morning on the west side. A woman died and a man was critically injured. And tonight, the search is on for a person a mother says broke into her daughter's room, then tried to strangle the daughter and abduct the 11-year-old.
Yeah, we're getting out of here. I don't want to stay here another night. We don't want to stay where my daughter was attacked.
It's understandable. Sarah Elsey tells us this happened overnight at her apartment on the north side. Police confirm they are aware of the report and are increasing patrols in the area. Sarah Elsey says she just wants the person responsible caught. She talked to 13 News about the moment her daughter Sophia woke up in a panic.
When I went into her bedroom, her door window was open, the blinds were pinned up by like a hair tie, and her screen was gone. I looked out the window and there's a chair where it looked like somebody had climbed up on and climbed into a window.
Elsie says her daughter had only a vague description of the person, saying he was wearing a dark ski mask and dark gloves. Anyone with information about the case is urged to call IMPD or Crime Stoppers. The city of Lawrence is giving a progress report. Tonight's State of the City address highlighted the good and the not so good. But as our Alex Almanza shows us, city leaders see that as an opportunity.
The mayor touted a lot of accomplishments within the past year, as well as some improvements that could be made, specifically the impacts of Senate Bill 1, which have had a lot of impact on the city's finances. But even with that, the city's committed to making sure that those are stabilized. It's been anything but a normal year for the city of Lawrence. Then again, the same could be said for several other Hoosier cities. Yet for Mayor Deb Whitfield, there's lots to celebrate.
In the last year, homicides dropped by over 77%.
After a property tax overhaul that brought in less money for cities like Lawrence, Mayor Whitfield was frank about the finances.
Future pressures will be placed on our reserve balance. That means making thoughtful decisions. That means staying disciplined. And that means keeping our promises.
The city's confident they're in a strong financial position, so confident that on Thursday they lifted a hiring freeze. Common Council President Zach Kramer is hoping to maintain transparency between the mayor and councilors come budget time.
Showing the good and the bad side of the conversation is very important so that our constituents know that we are doing the best for them, because at the end of the day, we represent them and we're spending their money.
Councilor Kramer says by spending less of that money, they have to be creative.
We have to make sure that we find that balance between providing our constituents with the public services that they expect and that they deserve, while also maintaining a fiscal budget.
If you were to give Lawrence a grade, what would you give it?
I would give us a B right now because I think we still have a lot of work to do, but the foundations have been led by our previous mayors. I'm trying to build upon that and take it to the next level.
Both the Common Council and the mayor's office say that they're going to work together to make sure that they're communicating as well as staying financially responsible in the next year. In Lawrence, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
Here's a look at other stories making headlines right now. A man accused of shooting at IMPD officers is now charged. He's facing a count of battery by means of a deadly weapon. Police say Joel Rector shot at them with an air rifle. It happened as officers were responding to a shooting across the street. Officers fired back. Rector was shot, but it is not clear if he was shot by police or himself. He's due in court tomorrow. The man who killed an Indianapolis restaurant owner was just sentenced to 70 years in prison. Investigators say Justin Jones shot George Nelson Sr., the owner of Pond Ma's Backyard Barbecue. It happened back in 2024. Police say Nelson hired Jones to help with a few projects, and the shooting happened because of a fight over money. Investigators are identifying the man killed in a shooting on the northeast side of Indianapolis. The Marion County coroner says 22-year-old Robert Galladay died near 46th in Arlington last night. Police have not released information about a possible suspect or motive. The city of Bloomington is ending its contract with a controversial street camera program. Flock is a technology company behind camera, audio, and investigative systems. City leaders say they decided not to renew the contract after a months-long evaluation. They say they'll look into options that better balance public safety and privacy protections. Also, right now, the Mooresville Senior Citizen Center needs a new roof. It started as a small leak and they found deeper problems during an inspection, so center leaders say they are depending on the community as they fundraise. They tell us it's still safe inside, but they need the repairs to happen as soon as possible. Remember, you can find all the latest local stories streaming anytime. Just scan the QR code you see here on your screen. The inaugural Big Ten volleyball tournament will play out in Fishers. Tonight, we're taking a closer look at the competition and the bump it could bring to the community.
The next rain chance is on the way. A front is going to bring us rain chances to kick off our weekend.
Plus, the Department of Correction takes action after 13 investigates uncovers fires inside Indiana State Prison. Tonight, senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel lays out how the prison is trying to better protect inmates.